On the news tonight, World Health Organization says Nigeria's malaria death rate dropped by 55% in 21 years. Vice President Kashim Shettima meets global health partners, assures of increased financing. And the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu swears in 38 commissioners and special advisors, calls for hard work to reflect excellence. It's good to have you join us on News Now. I am Mary Kanu. The World Health Organization says malaria death rates in Nigeria dropped by 55% between years 2000 and 2021. The WHO Regional Director for Africa, Matshidiso Moeti, who made this known during the launch of the 2022 Nigeria Malaria Report in Abuja, said incidents recorded from malaria also dropped by 26% within the same period. Moeti said although Nigeria accounted for about 27% of the global burden of malaria cases, the country has made significant progress. She further said that Africa carries a high proportion of the global malaria burden, accounting for about 95% of all malaria cases and 96% of all malaria deaths in 2021. And medical practitioners have reacted to the reports by the World Health Organization on the 55% decline in malaria deaths rates in Nigeria. The chairman, International Institute of Advanced Research and Training, Chidikan Medical Center, Philip Njamaze, who spoke in an interview to TV360 Nigeria, said although the report is encouraging, it is too early to celebrate. To ensure the eradication of malaria in Nigeria, Njamaze said the federal government must ramp up efforts by building a strong health system and ensuring compliance to vaccination.
That report is a welcome news that there is a downward trend in the incidence and mortality. However, the reality is in 2001 and 2021, there were 68 million cases of malaria and 194,000 deaths. This is very, very high, even if you consider that there was a drop of 55%. So really, there is nothing to celebrate in the real sense of it, because it is unacceptably very high. And this reflects the very poor health system design in Nigeria. Every health system must have three component parts. One, the treatment arm, where you go to hospital and receive treatment. The next is the preventive arm that actually tries to prevent diseases, monitor diseases, and go to the localities to take measures to prevent disease. That's the preventive arm controlled by an organization like the NCDC. And the third arm is the research arm. So it's a tripod that holds a health system. Nigeria for years, until the recent pandemic, had only one arm, the treatment arm. And that is not sufficient, because the main driver of the health system is actually the research. And we should have the National Institutes of Health at the federal level, at the state level, and also the local level, at the local government level. So, and then we should have the same thing, a Surgeon General who heads disease prevention programs at the federal level, at the state level, at the local government level, and even at the world level. This is the proper design of a health system. So what we have in Nigeria is not a health system. It's just fragmented healthcare where government provides some care and some private institutions provide care. It is not a coordinated health system.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured that the Bola Tinubu administration will place a priority on increasing domestic health financing and improving health outcomes. The Vice President gave the assurance when a delegation from global health partners, as well as some international health bodies, paid a courtesy visit at the presidential villa. More details of the meeting in this next report.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has received an audience at the Presidential Villa Global Health Partners, the Global Fund, the U.S. President's Malaria Initiative, the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, and some other global health partners. This meeting, according to the presidency, symbolizes the confidence and alignment these global partners have around President Bola Tinubu's vision to transform Nigeria's health system. Welcoming the delegation, the Vice President said increasing domestic health financing and improved health outcomes will be topmost on the agenda of the Tinubu's administration in the health sector. In his remarks, the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pati, said the visit of the global health partners was to take stock of the progress made so far.
The two visitors, three of them, have now committed almost $2 billion in grant financing for health of Nigerians over the next 3 years. That's a remarkable commitment, which shows they are confident on the vision of our president and the approach that we have now taken to deliver on that, along with state governments and local governments. And all Nigerians will need to put hands together so that we move the health sector forward as a basis for transforming our population to be very productive and to achieve the prosperity that is certainly in our future.
On their part, Peter Sands of the Global Fund and David Walton of the President's Malaria Initiative commended the federal government for its efforts towards combating malaria, HIV/AIDS, and tuberculosis, and urged all stakeholders to sustain the momentum, especially in the bid to achieve the 2030 target of eradicating HIV/AIDS in Nigeria.
Nigeria is the largest recipient of Global Fund financing of any country in the world. And we are in the process of designing programs and committing about $1 billion that will be provided by the Global Fund to Nigeria over the next 3 years. These programs include HIV programs working in partnership with PEPFAR, malaria programs working in coordination with the Presidential Malaria Initiative, and of course with the government itself, and also TB programs where Nigeria is the country with the biggest TB burden in Africa. But also we are investing heavily in the key components of the health system.
We want to protect people from ever getting malaria, right, by protecting them from being bitten. But number two, if they do get malaria, we want to be able to have rapid diagnosis, so quick diagnosis with a rapid test, and then treat them as quickly as possible to try to prevent the complications of malaria, which can result in death for the two most at-risk groups, which are children under 5 and pregnant women.
All the partners at the meeting pledged their support and commitment to work with the Tinubu's administration to deliver on its mandate and vision for the health sector. Tamilore Akinkolie, TV360 Lagos.
The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sworn in 37 new commissioners and special advisors that will join him in running the affairs of the state for the next 4 years. The commissioners and special advisors who took their oath of office at the Adeyemi Berry Auditorium, Alausa Ikeja, were asked by the governor to take their role seriously and serve in the interest of the people. Governor Sanwo-Olu commended the State House of Assembly for the job well done during the nominee screening exercise, which lasted for about 4 weeks.
To members of the new Executive Council, the expectation of our people has never been higher than they are right now. Doing your best to meet them is therefore not an option. It is the least that will be expected of you. Lagos is the center of excellence. Your work, your action, your deeds, your thoughts must reflect excellence at all times. And it has huge ramifications on everything that we stand for and that we do. Working together, carrying the people along, keeping your feet on the ground firmly, and ensuring that every decision you take has the best interest of our people at heart. Like we say, the greatest good must be for the greatest number. I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate members of your family And I want to congratulate members of your associates. You are members of the State Executive Council. You are representing Lagos State. You are not representing any local government or any ward. You are a cabinet member that ensures and sees Lagos State first as your constituency, and you must ensure that everything you do reflects the Lagosian in you first, and that is what we will expect to see going forward. Other giant strides that we're making, apart from real infrastructure, will be, by the grace of God, the completion of phase 1 of the 4th mainland bridge. We're making this commitment, and we're saying it boldly, that we will do the groundbreaking for the 4th mainland bridge very soon. This bridge will connect Ikorodu to the Bejuleki axis from Shogetedo and Abramadisora End to take you all the way to Ibeshe in Ikorodu, which will be the first phase.
The Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, MDCAN, has called on the federal government to provide incentives that will keep health workers in the country. President of the association, Muhammad Aminu Muhammad, who made the statement, said in a survey conducted 2 years ago from less than 50% of the association's chapters, it was discovered that about 500 patient doctors had left the country. He said it would take the country about 10 years to fill the vacuum left behind by the medical personnel. Mohammed further said that the Nigerian healthcare system is facing a myriad of challenges that include poor financing, brain drain, and inadequate healthcare facilities. The brain drain in the healthcare sector can also be attributed to the attitude Nigerian leaders exhibit by traveling to seek healthcare in other countries, showing their lack of trust in the system. These are the words of medical health practitioner Sunday Antu, who spoke in an interview with TV360 Nigeria on the brain drain in the health sector. Antu also called on the new Minister of Health, Ali Pate, to fully implement necessary and primary healthcare policies and programs to help improve the sector.
Sadly, it's a reality that we are grappling with, because when you look at the situation around, most of us don't find hope. Most of us don't see the future with it on ground. Our leaders, they are not leading us by example in that regard, given that most of them go outside this country to go and seek health care and leave the poor masses and the few medical hands in this country, the healthcare workers, to be struggling with the limited facilities, limited budget. You see the issue of corruption, when monies that are meant, for the masses to benefit are being corrupted, that the healthcare continue to suffer loss. Practitioners outside this country, of course, brain drain is not a good thing that any country want to envisage. Now we are moving out in troops to other countries. You don't see other nationals moving out in droves down here because they want to stay back and develop their country. Our Honorable Minister of Health, Ali Pate, is a seasoned technocrat in the health sector. Given his antecedent, I know that God helping him, he should be able to ensure that the national primary health care sector program of this country is fully implemented right from the grassroots. Our villages, those interior villages where our people are suffering, many of them are from poor socio-economic background. They are not able to afford healthcare, but the government taking the healthcare program to that baseline level, we afford them the opportunity to get the right care they need.
Worried by the recent spate of violence in Plateau State, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has donated 500 million naira to 500 families. The beneficiaries were drawn from 6 local government areas of the North Central State. According to Senator Tinubu, concrete measures must be taken to offer respite to those affected by insecurity, which the administration of President Tinubu was committed to achieving. More details in this next report. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, is in Jos, the Plateau State capital, over worries of constant communal clashes in some parts of the state. Senator Tinubu, who is here to commiserate with victims of the clashes and violence under the Renewed Hope initiative launched in June, has kicked off the distribution of relief packages in 6 local government areas of the state. Expressing concern about the insecurity situation, which leads to the loss of livelihood and shelter and displaced communities, the First Lady encouraged the victims not to lose hope as President Bola Tinubu and other stakeholders work to ensure enduring peace in the troubled communities.
The financial support of a sum of 500 million by the Renewed Hope Initiative is a modest step towards helping these families rebuild their lives, providing them with the means to secure shelter and other essential needs. 1 million will be disbursed to 500 families under the Renewed Hope Initiative Social Investment Program. To the affected families, I want you to know that you are not alone in the journey to recovery. We stand with you in solidarity and prayers as you return to your homes and communities to rebuild.
The First Lady urged privileged Nigerians to also offer assistance to internally displaced persons to enable them go back to the communities and rebuild their lives.
In these trying times, let us remember that our diversity is our strength, and together we can overcome the challenges that threaten our unity. We must remember that it is in our unity, our resilience, and our wavering commitment to peace that will guide us through periods such as this.
In his remarks, the state governor said that selecting the state ruled by the opposition party was an indication that governance was more paramount than political differences.
After politicking, we must first governance. And governance is about the people. And once we have laid behind us elections, we must know that we must govern in the fear of God, justly, equitably, for all in society. The gesture she has made, we didn't go asking. It was her own initiative. And it's part of the Renewed Hope Initiative. I know that we have had many programs by First Ladies that have made impact in this nation, but I'm confident that the Renewed Hope Initiative is going to surpass them all.
While describing the First Lady as a compassionate leader who has a passion for humanity, the governor urged beneficiaries not to be selfish in the disbursement to members of their households. Mary Kanu, TV 360, Nigeria. Let's take a break now, but still to come, former Super Falcons captain Desire Oparanozie retires at 29. More of this story and others when News Now returns. Join us again. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories tonight. The World Health Organization says malaria death rates in Nigeria dropped by 55% between years 2000 and 2021. The WHO Regional Director for Africa, Matshidiso Moeti, who made this known during the launch of the 2022 Nigeria Malaria Report in Abuja, said incidents recorded from malaria also dropped by 26% within the same period. Moeti said although Nigeria accounted for about 27% of the global burden of malaria cases, the country has made significant progress. We also told you that Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured that the Bola Tinubu administration will place a priority on increasing domestic health financing and improving health outcomes. The Vice President gave the assurance when a delegation from global health partners, as well as some international health bodies, paid a courtesy visit at the presidential villa. In case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Maxwell TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Welcome back. Simisola Adigun now joins us with more stories in business. Simisola, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mary. In business news, following early concerns about the standard gauge rail lines underutilization 2 years after its commissioning, the Minister of Transportation, Saidu Alkali, has inaugurated the first cargo freight from the Lagos-Ibadan rail corridor during his first official visit and tour of the APM terminal Apapa in Lagos. Alkali, who was accompanied by the Managing Director of the Nigeria Railway Corporation, Fidet Okeria, said the freight train would decongest the port and spare shippers from demurrage accumulation. We'll have a full report of that story later on in the news.
The Minister of Transportation, Saidu Akali, arriving at Mobolaji Johnson train station in company of Fidel Okairi, the Managing Director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, alongside his entourage on his maiden visit and tour to ascertain the state of the facility and also officially inaugurate first cargo freight from Lagos-Ibadan rail corridor. This latest inauguration comes 2 years after the commissioning of the Mobolaji Johnson train station in Lagos, the largest railway station in West Africa with a holding capacity of 6,000 passengers in Nigeria, constructed by China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation. At the APM terminal in Apapa station, with the MD of Nigerian Railway by the side, the minister officially flagged off the movement of container out of the port terminal.
We have tools that stop before the custom building. So the ministry is going to liaise with the Nigerian Customs Service to remove their building so that we lay the 2 remaining lines up to the end of the seaport. And that will even enable the train to turn inside the port so that they will get out of the port to Ibadan respectively.
The freight movement from APMT terminal on container movement to either Apapa, Papalanto. We have facility to move 4, but we hope to start with 3 per day.
After the official flag off, the next stop is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu Station, where the minister said plans will be in motion for the construction of 2 narrow lane tracks.
Each wagon would carry 30, 40-foot containers. So by the time we evacuated 30, if we achieve all the 3 lines, we have 90 times 3. That we are going to evacuate 270 40-foot containers out of Apapa Port to Ibadan.
The tour proceeds to Kajula Assembly Plant, where the minister praised the efforts of the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation and projected a boost in the nation's GDP.
This is a laudable achievement. I want to use this medium to commend the ECC for this corporate social responsibility. You can see it will have a multiplier effect on our GDP and even on the employment. So far they have made to understand they have about 5,000 direct and indirect jobs. This is a good achievement for our country.
The Transportation Minister also said that the Nigerian Railway Corporation is currently conveying cargoes via standard rail line from Lagos to Ibadan. But once the narrow line has been constructed, the movement from cargoes will run from Apapa Port in Lagos straight to Kano in order to enhance the shipment of goods in the nation. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
We'll take a short break here and return with stock market reports. Stay with us. The downgrade of Nigeria from frontier to unclassified market status by FTSE Russell, a subsidiary of London Stock Exchange Group, did not dampen trade on Wednesday as the markets grew by 0.93%. The benchmark all-share index and market cap also rose to 67,378 basis points and 36.9 trillion naira respectively. Now, despite fears of negative sentiment that could trigger equity sell-off on the NGX, the market breadth closed positive with 34 gainers and 24 losers. Dangote Sugar Refinery led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, followed by National Salt Company. However, Wednesday's data shows 12% decline in volume, 21% decline in turnover, and 20% decline in deals. Now, most foreign stock markets closed lower on Wednesday, so our select stocks felt the heat, with the UK's FTSE and Japan's Nikkei ending in the bears, leaving the US Dow Jones in the bulls territory. That's the stock market report. Back to you, Mary.
Many thanks, Simisala. Moving on now to the global scene, about 8,000 people have died and thousands more are injured or missing in the disasters that struck the two North African nations of Morocco and Libya within days of each other. In Libya, 5,000 people have died after the Mediterranean storm Daniel ravaged the nation's northeastern coast over the weekend. Hardest hit was Derna, a city of 90,000, where entire neighborhoods were washed away in the deluge of water from two bust dams. Officials in the eastern part of the divided OPEC nation said water levels had reached the 4th or 5th floors of some buildings. The search is continuing for an estimated 10,000 missing people. While still on the global scene, Emma Coronel, the wife of imprisoned Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, is set to be released from a U.S. prison on Wednesday, according to the United States Bureau of Prisons. The U.S.-born 34-year-old was arrested in 2021 on drug trafficking charges and sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to helping the Sinaloa drug cartel. The 3 counts against her included conspiracy to launder money and distribute illegal drugs and engaging in financial dealings. Her sentence also included 4 years of supervised release and a forfeiture of $1.5 million. And now in sports, Super Falcons forward Desire Okparanozie has announced her retirement from professional football for both country and club. The 29-year-old's last outing for the Super Falcons was at the 2023 World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, where the country crashed out in the round of 16. Okparanozie came into the limelight after featuring for Nigeria's Falconets at the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in 2010. The striker scored 22 goals in 35 appearances for Nigeria. That's all on news now. Thank you for staying with us. I am Mary Kanu.